How is it going, guys? We are back in the crew and I'm giving you guys a drift tutorial on how to build the best rear-wheel drive drift car. Now we all know with dirt spec it is an amazing way to drift in the game. The only thing that I don't like about it, and many others don't like about it, is the fact that you're forced to drift all-wheel drive. That would make sense, right? Dirt spec is all-wheel drive only, because why would you want to drive through dirt with rear-wheel drive? It just wouldn't work right, you know what I'm saying? So they forced it where every single car that isn't dirt spec is changed to all-wheel drive. That makes sense. Now if you're like me and many others and you want to drift rear-wheel drive, you can't really do that with dirt spec. So this is a solution how to drift really well with a rear-wheel drive car in the crew. So what you want to do is find yourself a very nice rear-wheel drive drift car, whatever you prefer. In this case, I got myself my brand new speed car pack Celine S7 twin turbo. Looks really nice and beautiful. Now let's get right into it. So when you're upgrading the parts, this is where it comes key. You want to make sure you max out all the parts you can. So I'm not saying that you guys have every single car part maxed out. For instance, I'm in perf spec. I have the majority of the perf spec parts maxed out to platinum level 50. But if you do not, find your highest part that you can use and put that one on. Now what you want to do is listen carefully. You want to max out all the parts you can to your car besides the suspension, the tires, and the diff. I'll get into the reasoning why you want to do that. Now you don't have to follow my perf spec. You can always, do street spec. You could always do circuit spec. You could always do whatever. But just make sure that whatever spec you do choose, it works well for drifting. Because for instance, for me, perf spec, I'm able to drift in this spec pretty well. And I'm having no problem at all. But it may be more difficult to drift in raid spec, let's just say. So make sure you know what you're doing and you just kind of think it through before you start blowing away all your bucks, because I know it takes a lot of time to save up your money in this game. But anyways, let's get right into what I was saying. So with each part, right now you can see my car level is 1126. We all know that's not the highest car level you can get in the game. But like I just said, there's 3 parts that you do not want to upgrade. Now the reason why you don't want to upgrade those 3 parts, which is tires, suspension, and diff, is because they add the most amount of grip. So for instance, we'll click on the exhaust part. I already have my car upgraded, right? So I'm not going to click this part that's showing up now. However, you can see that the acceleration, the top speed, the grip, and the braking all either stay the same or decrease. So I'm not going to obviously upgrade this part. Now for the ECU, you can see that they all decrease, including grip. So you would say, well, wouldn't you want to pick this part because it lowers your grip? Yes and no. As you can see, yeah, the grip goes down, but only by 11 points. It doesn't make a significant difference to the car. So you want to make sure you upgrade your ECU to the best ECU part you have, even if it increases grip by a little bit. That goes for all of the parts. Not every single one, make sure you listen. The 3 parts that I left out were the tires, suspension, and diff. Do not, I repeat, do not upgrade those ones though. So as you can see, for fuel injection, grip is not affected. Everything else lowers. So definitely I wanted to keep the part I had, which is the max part. Air system, grip is affected, but by barely. It's 11 points, so it doesn't matter. Make sure you upgrade your air system all the way. Gearbox, same thing. Grips, doesn't make a significant difference. Top speed though, that's 28 right there. Obviously, I want to make sure I have a good gearbox, even though the grip's added. It's a little bit of grip, but I get a better top speed out of it. Motor core, grip's not affected, but as you can see, there's benefits with the top speed and acceleration. Now for tires, you can see the huge grip increase I get if I upgraded these tires. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave the tires the way they are. Brakes, grip's not affected, so you obviously want to make sure you have really good brakes, but I'm going to keep the brakes I have on currently because as you can see, I lose a top speed, but I gain acceleration. So, it really doesn't matter which one I choose, but I would prefer to keep my top speed. Now for suspension, same. Do not upgrade your suspension. As you can see, the grip is increased crazy. That's over 118. That's way too much. Do not do that. Same with diff. 162 plus. Do not upgrade your diff. Now weight reduction, you can, because as you can see, the grip is barely added. It's like 14 more points, so it doesn't affect it. I really do hope you guys understand what I'm doing here though. So I'll just make this simple, and I'll just tell you guys right off the bat if you guys forgot. You want to make sure you upgrade all your parts maxed out. So for any parts that you have, choose your best ones that you can and upgrade them, except for tires, suspension, and diff, because those three add the most amount of grip. I hope this tutorial helps. I'll be showing you guys in a few seconds here me drifting and just showing you guys how easy it is, you know what I mean? But we'll get right into that right now. So I'll see you guys there. So now we are off and we are drifting. As you can see, I'm doing it pretty good. Now, if you don't know, which I'm sure a lot of you guys already know how to drift in this game, but if you're not really sure how to drift rear-wheel drive properly, I will give you guys a quick little explanation on how the best way to drift will be, especially when you're drifting rear-wheel drive. So we all know that using the handbrake is one of the go-to ways to start and to initiate a drift. So that's obviously something that you're going to want to do, is make sure you're pressing the X button on the Xbox One controller or the square button on the PlayStation 4 controller. For the PC version, I haven't played that in so long, I'm not really sure. So if you are a PC player, just make sure that you're pressing your handbrake button, alright? Now anyways, when you're pressing that handbrake button, you want to make sure right after that you have as much throttle and control as you possibly can, because you want to be able to have enough power going through the turn to hold your drift, and you obviously want to have control, because if you don't control your car, you're obviously going to spin out. Those are pretty much the three basic elements to the crew and how to drift in this game. Now for me, sometimes I find when I'm drifting through these turns, I feel like there's a loss of power and I start to slow down, and you can just kind of feel it just when you're playing the game, you know what I mean? Everyone kind of just feels it. And when you do feel that, what I tend to do is I like to shoot off some NOS. It gives me a little bit more power, it gives my car a little bit more angle, and it helps the car slide a little bit more. That's just something that I like to do, and it's worked for me. I do it not only in this game, but in also Need for Speed and in a lot of other arcade type racing games. So that's pretty much the basic technique I could give you guys to drift pretty well in the crew rear-wheel drive. That's pretty much it. So I'll go over it. If you didn't really listen carefully enough, you want to make sure that you press the handbrake, throttle and control, and if need be, use some NOS. That's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave it a like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks, guys.